He called enrichment an integral part of Iran's peaceful nuclear program. Baghaei added that all parties, including Oman, must respect this red line. Iran and the US have held 5 rounds of indirect talks since April. The next round's time and venue remains undecided. President Masoud Pezeshkian said Iran will cope even if talks fail. The army chief warned Iran is ready to counter any Israeli attack on its nuclear sites. Here's what Iran's foreign ministry spokesman has said.
موضوع غنیسازی به عنوان بخش لاینفک انرژی هسته‌ای صلح‌آمیز و صنعت هسته‌ای جمهوری اسلامی ایران حتماً باید حفظ بشه. ما به هیچ عنوان مجاز نیستیم که در این مورد کوچکترین نرمشی نشون بدیم و بنابراین پیشنهادهایی که مطرح میشه از طرف‌های مختلف از جمله عمان قاعدتاً این خط قرمز خیلی پررنگ ما رو حتما مد نظر قرار خواهد.
We have anchor and correspondent Joshua Barnes joining us live from New Delhi. Joshua, what can you tell us more about this situation?
Yes, Suma, this is an extremely complicated situation that potentially has military ramifications. The situation at question is Iran's nuclear program. Now, there was a previous nuclear deal which put restrictions on the amount of uranium and other nuclear products that Iran could enrich. That was taken away by Donald Trump during his first term, and the US is looking to secure a second nuclear deal. In Iran's interest, there's current sanctions that have been placed on them by the United States. You mentioned in your summary there, talks have been ongoing, but there is a serious sticking point here, and that is Iran's uranium enrichment. Now, many experts say that Iran are close to having enough uranium enriched which would allow them to have a nuclear weapon, and this could be devastating for the Middle East and West Asia. Of course, Iran involved in conflicts with Israel. We have seen proxy groups of theirs go to direct war with Israel. Also, a strike on Israel that came from Iran last year shows the real melting pot of tensions at the moment within that region. The fear is if Iran have a nuclear weapon, the impact and the level of change it could bring to the ongoing tensions and conflicts that are at play. Now, this situation is one that Iran have said isn't the case. They say that their uranium enrichment is only for domestic use. That could be energy or other infrastructure, but many experts say that this is absolutely untrue. Now, let's take our mind back. Donald Trump, before these negotiations got underway, said that if a deal isn't agreed, then there's a potential for military action against Iran from the US. This would be a huge escalation in an already fractured relationship. It would mean potentially a wider war for the region, given the US and Israeli partnership that has been ongoing through the war in Gaza, conflict in Lebanon with Hezbollah, also Houthi strikes in Yemen. The Houthis are backed by Iran as well. The US were involved with strikes on Yemen targets after they were interrupting Red Sea shipping, though a ceasefire has come into play. All of these ongoing conflicts that have been bubbling for months, if not years, could come to a real head if there was further military action directly on Iran. That would be a big step forward. That is the risk that is being played with here, and while discussions have been ongoing and both sides say that the progress has been made, there is a fear that if a deal isn't reached, it could lead to further violence. Abbas Araghchi, the foreign minister of Iran, has been involved in these discussions. He has said that Iran are willing to work with the United States for a new deal. They've been taking place in Oman. There's been a conversation that was had indirect in Rome as well. So there really is a wider geopolitical feeling that this deal needs to get done to avoid a bigger conflict and a potential escalation on a scale that we haven't seen yet in the Middle East and wider region. It really is at a tipping point here, but I think both sides have said discussions are moving forward in a positive way, but this could be a real sticking point. Steve Witkoff, Middle East envoy for the US, has spoken about this issue on multiple occasions, and it is a clear point in any deal. Iran saying repeatedly, this isn't the first time, a couple of days ago they also said uranium enrichment isn't something that is going to be a deal breaker in this deal, and they won't do it just to get a deal agreed. It is a clear red line for Iran, but a clear line that the US want crossing. Iran have also said in recent days that they will be okay if they walk away from a deal. That's referring to the sanctions that the US have placed on Iran, which is causing difficulties for the Iranian economy. This one is on a knife edge. More discussions will take place, in my opinion. I think there will need to be a compromise, as we're seeing across the global geopolitical standing at the moment. There seems to be a lot of conversations that need to be had in ongoing conflicts and disagreements, this another between the US and Iran. It's interesting to see what might happen with European nations. There were conversations set with European leaders and Iran over this nuclear deal. A multinational agreement was made, that one that Trump took the US out of a 2015 deal that also included European nations, Russia and China as well. So it might be that this needs to be a larger global discussion, but the discussions between the US and Iran directly, or at least indirectly, will continue to happen. The impasse is there. Compromises, I expect, will be made, but the potential risk, if a deal isn't made, is there.
And is there any potential of, since you have already mentioned Oman and European countries, they were involved in previous talks, do you think is there any chance of any other country, maybe from Europe, joining these talks?
Well, yes, as I mentioned, there was a meeting that was set with European leaders that were from Britain, France, and other leading European nations that were meant to take place with the Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi. I think that is a possibility, that could happen. That original 2015 deal, like I said, with Iran involved many countries, and that provided guarantees and a easing of sanctions. Those, of course, have resumed from the US, and there might be dialogue with other nations. As it stands, Oman are playing a mediator role. Rome have also hosted conversations as well and been part of that mediation. But direct discussions with other parties other than the US and Iran are yet to take place. I think they could happen, but this enrichment, this uranium enrichment, is a clear issue that needs to be resolved, whether that's a compromise from the US side or Iranian side, or just a flat refusal. We wait to see.
Thank you very much, Joshua Barnes, for joining us, and